Blingnya jelek banget.
I have this thirst for blood.
Apa ini? Dan Miss One, this guy. Oke, ini dulu lah, baru misi utamanya. Dulu pernah ketemu ini orang di atas rumah, tapi mana ya?
can't believe I'm doing this.
Kirain buntu. Bapak ini. Belum.
This is despicable. Beautiful warm woolen scarf with traditional permanent pattern. I have this thirst for blood.
dalam rumah.
Good evening, sir. It's me again.
Leave me alone, I say, whoever you are.
It cannot be safe for a blind man to live here alone. Let me enter, sir. I swear I mean you no harm.
Well, a voice never lies, and yours clearly is the voice of a gentleman. All right, Doctor, come on in. Tell me, how do you see the world these days? So what is the name of my nocturnal visitor?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. As I already explained to you, I'm inquiring about the epidemic.
Dr. Reed? The eminent surgeon? My God, I'd never have expected a brilliant physician like you to knock on my door.
You flatter me, sir.
No, sir, I am flattered. I read all your work when I still had my sight. I loved it. I'm Mason Swanborough, by the way.
Oh, braille ya, braille bell. Braille ini adalah titik-titik untuk membaca itu ya, tulisan khusus untuk kawan-kawan difabel.
And what else have you learned about me, Mr. Swanborough?
I know you assisted Professor Carell in France, and that you invented a new blood transfusion method based on his work.
Yes. Those were frustrating but exciting days. I loved it.
Yes, the thrill of research and discovery. This is what drives people like us, Dr. Reed. Oh, how I envy you.
Does someone take care of you in this isolated place?
My sister Loretta and I have our daily routine. Every morning and evening she comes by so we can talk and eat. Then she leaves and I stay.
Where does your sister go?
Well, let's just say, she earns enough money for us both.
What's so amusing about that?
I won't hide the truth from you. Loretta sells a fake miracle elixir to the sick people of Whitechapel.
Do you not appreciate your sister's visits?
Loretta is the best and worst thing that happened to me, and I believe she could say the same thing about me.
Oh, Neurogia.
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I don't know who she is.
Do you know Braille, Mr. Swanborough?
I'm no expert, but I learned it in my spare time, yes. Why?
I found a strange document entitled Cure for Blindness. It's written in Braille, so I thought perhaps it was yours.
Really? Is that some kind of sick joke? Let me see.
Here it is.
This letter seems authentic. And it actually refers to an experimental cure for blindness. You have piqued my interest, Dr. Reed.
Could it be of any use to you?
No. This page is just a part of a larger diary. I'd be glad if you could find the other pages.
Cari yang lain ya.
Goodbye, Mr. Swanborough. I'll leave you now.
What kind of gentleman pays visits to people at this late hour?
Vampyr minum darah kita, tapi mereka feed on our soul. Feed mengisi jiwa kita. Bagaimana kita percaya pria atau wanita yang dibunuh oleh makhluk bodoh ini, digigit oleh filthy. What the meaning of filthy? Digigit oleh mulut kotor, dan apa itu bisa terima? No, their body has been their medisi ya. Their bodies has been tercemar dan their soul has been corrupted. Their place is now in hell, with the legions of blood-sucking demons. Vampire feeds on our souls. Vampir feed on our soul. Vampir apa sih? Feed vampir. Kita dikatain Jack.
Wandering in this part of town at night, you're either brave or a fool.
Ini adalah sebuah permintaan maaf yang mana kamu tak pernah membacanya. You forget you semi-cross me. Oh, pernyataanmu hilang karena aku. I know you hate me for what I did, even you never say so. We don't talk much in the small family, don't we? So to clear my conscience, so to clear my hati nurani saya, it is my brave gift toward you to write this letter. Tunggu dulu, tapi dia kan buta ya. To write this letter and leave it in your laboratory. If you ever find it and ask about it, I'll leave it to you. If someone else read it, well, as more, it is my brave sister. So Mason, I'm sorry for what I did. What the hell you have been thrown into? I'm sorry you are. Now I'm blind man trying to find the meaning of yourself life. If I could change only one thing in my miserable life. It would be happen 1 year ago. I swear, my son. You have to give my aid for you to again. I would, but it does not work to this way, does it? So please no, give me Loretta. Tidak menjelaskan kenapa dia buta ya, kenapa bisa buta. Oh, mana dia nih? Nih. Ini orang ini dokter abal-abal lah, lebih kurang, dan korbannya adalah saudaranya.
Tell me, how do you see the world these days?
It's locked, all right.
What kind of gentleman pays visits to people at this late hour? What can I do?
Why does your sister feel so guilty about what happened to you?
Because she knows I'll never forgive what she did to me.
You run an illegal business with someone you hate.
I don't hate my sister. She looks after me, we have a good time. But I'm just not ready to forgive her.
Goodbye, Mr. Swanborough.
Mungkin bahannya
I'll leave you
itu
now.
kita gigit.
What? Wandering in this part of town at night, you're either brave or a fool.
Ada opsi utama lagi ya. Neurologia kita gak ada neurologia. Farming.
This is despicable. I have this thirst for blood. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Aduh. Ngapain neurologia ini dua nih nggak ada. Gimana caranya? Kodein. Apa yang nggak ada sih?
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Anpas. Apa sih? Gimana sih ceritanya nih? Bukannya dia orang yang paling profesional sini.
According to the report I read, your unprofessional conduct put a patient in danger, Gwyneth.
That's not true. I know when my patient's life is at risk, and I'm more competent than a lot of doctors that I know. Problem is, I'm a woman.
I don't see what your gender has to do with your abilities, Nurse.
Yes, nurse. Because I'll never be a doctor, no matter what my skills. I could make a decision that could save a life, but oh no, that's unbecoming conduct.
Sepertinya tuh dia tuh diremehkan karena dia tuh suster, bukan dokter. Namanya suster pasti perempuan ya. Tapi apa kita support?
Have you heard of Elizabeth Blackwell? She was the first woman listed on the UK Medical Register. Change is slow, but it will come. And you will always have my support.
To have the right to study shouldn't be determined by sex, skin, or wealth. That's all I'm saying.
Do you require medical...
I will be...
Nurse, you...
I'll try.
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical help yourself, Nurse?
I'm afraid I've contracted some illness, Dr. Reed.
Not under my watch, Nurse. Take this.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give him...
Good evening, and good evening. Do you need my medical attention? I would have... There is no shame in helping each other. We're colleagues, after all. Many doctors I have known are too cynical to... Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
I've read your son's medical report, Beatrice. It's not the flu or anything life-threatening. What has you so worried?
He was at death's door when he was brought here. I just want him to be better as soon as possible.
He's not out of the woods yet, you know. He might need to stay here longer than expected.
Take care of him then, Dr. Reed. People here only seem to focus on contagious patients. I worry my poor Mortimer will be neglected.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this? No, I don't.
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Ini dulu lah. Oh, Megan nggak ada ya.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr.
Is there anything else that's
Really?
unfortunate? Good.
My sweet girl. Treats me like a woman.
I don't have migraine.
Good evening, Dr. Timmons.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Do you need any medical assistance?
Yes.
Waduh,
I will see you later.
Oh, overqualified. Jadi korporannya menganggap kalau si Jane Brannigan itu adalah dia tuh terlalu hebat lah bagi seorang suster. Tapi dia harus jadi dokter karena genre.
Goodbye, Doc.
Baru tahu ada isu kayak gitu.
Lisa, can't look at it. Lord, give us that leech is fast. Die, vermin! I'll take it! He's dead!
Silly.
This is not stupid! This one's mine! God, she's dead! To hell!
Semakin banyak kita lawan orang jadi bertambah SP kita dan semakin kuat karakter utama kita.
I cannot enter. It's locked, all right. So much blood. Whoever was killed got dried out.
Hey dah. Wah, ini mana sih yang dapat? Kita lihat terus. Iya.
It's locked.
Penasaran yang user mana sih tadi itu? Ini. Udah trigger apa-apa.
I cannot enter. I have this thirst for blood.
Oh, ini pertama ya. Tempat kita Kroten Ilvenja.
"29 Pretty Orchard Street. This is it. What's in there for me?"
What? Satu tes. Tes satu.
There's been a fight here.
Ada pertempuran.
This window was shattered with violent force. Someone's been pulled through it and dragged through the street. Who could have done that?
Stay away! Oh Christ!
We're being misled. Or worse, we're being baited by leeches playing a nasty game.
Leech Roller! We can't!
The marks on this woman's neck were made by the fangs of a vampire.
Bikin oleh tariknya vampir. Bisa kantongnya.
Only a golden watch in her
Ada
pockets.
emas. Kalau penuh gimana sih kalau penuh?
This is the very flower my mother tossed on Mary's coffin. Someone is targeting my family. Her shoes and clothes are quite worn out.
I see you.
Ooh. It's
Right then. It's a sick game. But given no choice in the matter, I might as well win it.
mini boss nih, lawan boss nih.
Jonathan.
What was that? I won't let you escape. Very fast, but I'll catch you. They've all been butchered. I can still sense a presence.
Goblok, kaget goblok.
Come to me.
Skema siasat.
Help me, please! You!
Hai
Vicar Larrabee,
What have you done?
what happened?
Demon! Hell Scourge! Son of perdition!
Vicar! Jonathan's no demon. He's just a soul. Returned from the dead.
My mother.
Like your Christ, Vicar.
Jatan
Mary, is it really you?
Oh, it's me, all right. Precious brother.
What is Mother doing here?
I'm gathering the family for a final reunion. All smiling, all dead. Thanks to the good Dr. Reed.
Mary,
Mother, say hello to your son.
Hello, Jonathan.
Mother,
What do we have here, Mother? The prodigal son has lost his tongue. Our Jonathan always had the first and last word at dinner. The entertainer, the star of our show.
I'm sorry. Let me explain.
Shut up. It's my turn to do the talking. I have this nasty hole in my chest, Johnny. It needs to breathe.
Of course. You can speak.
Dia setiap orang kita gigit tuh pasti jadi.
My prayers went so long without an answer. My husband, killed in France. My child, carried away by the flu. My brother promising to return in his letters, then disappearing in thin air. I went from hospital to hospital, cemetery to cemetery, grave to grave. I've lifted every stone in London, searching for an end to the nightmare. And there you were, in front of me, on a dark pier.
The hunger had taken me.
The joy to have finally found you. I longed for your arms, a final happy ending to so much tragedy, to tell me all would be well again, as you did when we were children. It was this filthy dock where you greeted your sister. I dug a tunnel from my grave with my fingers and teeth.
Mary. I thought I had murdered you. I tried to end myself. We've been through the same horror.
We are a disease, Jonathan. A sickness that corrupts all it touches. All we kiss, and all we kill. Look at me. Admire your ilk.
I'm so sorry.
Apologies will not suffice. I demand reparation. I want a miracle. Are you a miracle worker, Dr. Reed? No? I'll show you mine then. The family Reed, reunited and complete, living forever in a red sea of eternal love. Time to go, Mother. Say hello to my son for
Mary,
me.
wait. I have made friends with vital knowledge. Vampires. We are not alone, Mary. With time, we can learn to live almost as we lived before.
How long?
What?
How long will this masquerade continue? I've been watching you. All these nights in Whitechapel, pretending you're still a doctor. You believe you're just fighting a disease. But it's you, the disease. Jonathan, you!
I'm a scientist. I'll find a solution. Let our mother go, please.
You're always the one to sway me to reason, Jonathan. But before, your motivations were always pure. Now you're tainted.
Let her go! She has no part to play in this.
Very well. Have you heard our good doctor? You can go home, Mother. Go home and rest in peace.
Yes, I'll go home.
Ya,
And
kan?
rest.
It's so easy to make them obey or forget. Puppets for our pleasure. I've seen you have your fun.
You are mad.
Oh, so that's what I am, Doctor. Mad. I was beginning to wonder. I've been hearing these voices in my head. One in particular, that of my dead brother. This is the reason I must kill you. Not for your betrayal. Not for our poisonous kiss. Not even for the lies you tell yourself. No. It's so that smooth and wicked voice will stop ringing in my ear.
Mary. No, don't!
Time to die, brother. And this time for good. Assassin!
Apa itu?
Come to me, Jonathan.
Apa itu?
away Nurse Crane's mind. You're a monster! Rest in peace, monster. Give me your blood, priest. You left me to rot. My final thoughts are just to die for. Kiss me again, brother. Abomination! You've killed me, brother! What have you done?
Ganti pistol.
Assassin! Rest in peace, monster. You left me to rot in this grave! Kiss me again, brother.
Pakai semuanya.
Make you kneel like a dog, just as you did to John Hampton! Come to me, Jonathan. What have you done? Well, brother, it's time to bring this conversation to an end. Forever.
You know I will not play this game.
Calm now, Doctor. Like a rabid dog. Or think you're performing an autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'll kill them all. The kind Dr. Swansea?
No, no, no.
The sweet little lass with hair of red? I am the Harbinger, bringing your punishment.
Mary.
Don't you see? This is not me. Flesh that never ages. All nightmare, no dream. Bring it to a close. Let me sleep.
I will find a cure, Mary. I swear it.
At last, I can forgive you.
Blood. As I shed one last red tear for my fallen sister, I realize the entire world now revolves around this singular word. The epidemic that has stricken London is not the Spanish flu. It is transmitted through the blood, via violent biting, turning survivors into frenzied immortals. I am Dr. Jonathan Reed. I am a vampire, born anew into an age of death and pestilence. While plotting factions close in around me, I am sworn to find the source of this epidemic. I am convinced greater perils are still to come. I know the answers I seek are hiding in our blood. The flower's dying. It needs water.
Udara level 2 guys. Let's add that.
It's locked. It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Jonathan, old chap, how are you tonight? I've seen little of you of late.
I was conducting research in my room, away from the nightly routines.
Of course, of course. Worry not, I understand. The situation has been testy around here. I won't deny it, but we still stand.
What news do you bring?
The news is not good, my friend. We try to keep the epidemic at bay, but street violence is escalating quickly.
How bad is the epidemic?
It is killing the infected patients faster. In less than 2 days now. The only blessing is that they are contagious for a shorter period.
Tell me more about the violence.
Geoffrey McCallum seems to have sent his war dogs on a hunt. On a nightly basis, Pre-Wen patrols exterminate every skull and vampire they find.
Have they come closer to the hospital?
No. They mainly focus on fallen districts or abandoned buildings. But they're growing in numbers. They must be recruiting heavily.
I have received an alarming letter from Lady Ashbury. She wants me to meet her at her house. I have been granted safe passage.
Then you are twice fortunate. I have never been invited to the lady's mansion. But with the quarantine and controls, city access is nigh impossible.
Why have you never entered the lady's house? You are one of her good friends, are you not?
My dear Jonathan, you have no idea how reclusive the good lady normally is. Nor in what great esteem she must hold you to let you into her domain.
Is the quarantine serving any purpose?
It is helping slow the propagation of the epidemic. But as long as we have no clue to its origin, its efficiency is limited.
Have you any reliable friends in the West End who might assist me?
Unfortunately, you will be alone. Except for our ravishing red-headed acquaintance, of course.
What about the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole? Where are they?
There are only a few of us, and most others would not speak to you. I am the black sheep of our brotherly flock, you know.
What of my commission here at Pembroke Hospital?
Nothing to fear, Jonathan. Your position here is in no jeopardy. You remain one of us, and you are always most welcome.
Thank you, Edgar. We shall speak again later.
Can I press something?
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you.
It's locked.
About this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
It's locked, all right.
Very angry about this unfair situation.
It's locked, all right.
Buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir? You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir. And I thank you for your generous donation.
It's locked.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh? Is that what your pawnbrokers is really about?
These people are dead, sir. What they possessed could be useful for the living. And I'm sure they would agree if they could speak.
Whatever your motives, you're making money by stealing from the dead. Dr. Swansea should be informed.
No offense, sir, but Dr. Swansea is one of my customers. As I told you, I like to help people, and everybody needs help from time to time.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Yo.
Good evening.
Do you need medical attention?
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company.
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr. Chidana. None of us are immune to this disease.
And that is a good thing. Death and disease is a constant reminder of our mortality. But you have my thanks, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Ini dulu lah scarf. Shell. Yo chapel ya.
Steady, boys! Got one of them here! It's on him! It's on him! That's got him! I'll send you back in the
Over there! There's one of them vermin!
Good evening, Xiaoshu.
晚上好, Dr. Reed. It's good to see you again.
How is the sanitary situation evolving in Whitechapel these days?
My only relief is that my Matthew died before seeing the madness that approaches. I'm afraid we won't survive this trial, Dr. Reed.
How do you feel? Goodbye for now. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Joe, come on, we can sort it out, right? It's not what... You are blinded by your
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
Did you steal Clayton Darby's wallet? Tell me the truth, Christina.
Of course I stole it. But I never thought he would come back to look for it.
Why did you do it? He seems to trust you.
For a time I thought he was different from other men. In the end, he just wanted to sleep with me. Same as the others.
Mixing money with passion rarely delivers a beautiful story.
Lucky me. I don't believe in beautiful stories anyway.
It's okay.
Could this be the scarf you lost, Miss Popper?
It is much more than a scarf to me. It is the only thing that connects me to my family and my country. Thank you so much.
How are the conditions in Whitechapel these days?
When I think about all the people who died trying to reach England, it seems we escaped a war just to die on foreign shores, hated by all.
Goodbye, miss.
Don't speak English. Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
How are conditions in Whitechapel at the moment?
I always thought it was my role to reveal what really happens in these forgotten parts of London.
And you're not sure anymore?
Emptied coffins. Cannibalism. Walking dead. I'm trying to report the truth about what's going on, but no one believes it anymore.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
I'm cheap and I'm clean.
The walls of your home will not protect you.
Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir.
How is the sanitary situation evolving in Whitechapel these days?
I imagine we are all part of some nightmare without beginning nor ending. If only the dreamer could awake.
How is the sanitary situation evolving in Whitechapel these days?
I imagine we are all part of some nightmare without...
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Perhaps it's time to think about something more useful to do. I'm not sure that poets are what London needs at this moment in time.
Men and women need food for certain, a roof and safety, but how narrow is the mind of one who believes art is not as essential? Goodbye for now, sir.
Do you need medical...
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
I understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
I'll leave you alone, sir. Hello again, miss. Tell me, Camellia, how are things now the dispensary is closed? Very well. Goodbye, then. I cannot enter.
You look so pale, my lord. Would you like me to revive you?
You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your daily routine. You pay for peace of mind. The other way this week, Joe. Yeah, well, we can sort it out, right? It's not my call, Baron. You pay one way or another.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? How are the current conditions in Whitechapel?
When there's more people outside at night than during the day, then you've got to start to worry.
Right then. Show me what you have. Good evening, sir. Do you remember me?
If you're here for a reward, you'll be sorely disappointed. But I'll gladly shake the hand of a fellow countryman.
I'm not here for a bounty. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed from the Pembroke.
A doctor? In Whitechapel? What an opportunity. My name's Bates. Cadogan Bates.
Do you require assistance, Mr. Bates?
Not me, but your skills could help a lot of people round here. That would help my business, because I say, a live tenant's a paying tenant.
It's unusual to see someone so happy around here, especially considering the current situation.
Why should I be sad now? There've always been wars, disease, tragedy. There always will be.
That's an unusual way of seeing things in these trying times.
I don't see why I should shed a tear for another man's woes. I'm healthy, and I intend to stay so.
What is your business, exactly?
I offer fair lodgings for a modest price to the poor and weary of Whitechapel.
I see. And what about those who cannot pay?
Well, deals can be done, if you know what I mean. Money's not the only currency. After all, I'm not immune to a pretty face.
In other words, you take advantage of these poor lost souls.
Begging your pardon, I thought you was a man who could appreciate the complexity of the modern world. Things ain't just black and white, you know.
Tell me, what's your honest opinion of the increasing violence in London?
People are just beginning to discover what we've always known. This city's rotten to the core. They just took their bloody time to wake up and notice it.
What do you mean?
People are acting like the violence is news. But it's always been savage down here. It just bubbles to the surface every now and again.
What help could I possibly be to your business?
That's simple. I already get good money from all those fleeing the war. Can you imagine what they'd be willing to pay if I could offer medical assistance too?
Mr. Bates, do not make me regret saving your life in this quarantine zone.
I understand, Dr. Reed, you're from a good family. Don't want to get your hands dirty. That's fine. I'll be happy to act as your middleman.
I've no interest in money. Perhaps one night I will visit you and take what I require. If that should happen, there will be no need for a middleman.
So it's a no then. That's too bad. The Reed tonic could have really helped people, you know, save lives. Isn't that what you do? I mean, people buy that Swambra shit.
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not really.
Why am I not convinced?
Maybe it's because you lack faith. Being a skeptic must be useful for a man of science.
A man such as yourself, knee-deep in the muck of Whitechapel, must know more. Speak now.
Heard it closed after the owners died. Refugees don't want to come to Whitechapel no more. Scared, I hear.
You sound disappointed.
As long as she was there at the dispensary, it attracted more immigrants and kept my place full. Such a shame.
You seem to have recovered well since your attack. Do you ever think about what happened to you?
Not much. It was a fucking nightmare. Savages, absolute bloody savages, their appearance. Jesus. Make me want to puke.
You'd better not come back here. I won't be around next time to save you. I want to know everything about the recent violence, Cadogan. And I want the truth.
Well, rent may be a bit high, and yeah, I've had to evict a few people. But that's business, isn't it?
Take this as my final warning. You will not profit from the misery of others. Business is one thing, but what you do is quite another.
Really? What you gonna do? You ain't from here. You ain't Whitechapel, Doctor. You wouldn't know the first thing about playing dirty, even if you wanted to.
Apa nih? Tapi 700.
How are conditions in Whitechapel at present?
The way this sickness is spreading, I don't think there'll be enough new bloods to replace those tenants I'm losing from this bloody thing.
How are conditions in Whitechapel at present?
The way this sickness is spreading, I don't think there'll be enough new bloods to replace those tenants I'm losing from this bloody thing.
Goodbye, Mr. Bates.
Science failed you. This elixir will give you faith again.
Good evening, my dear colleague.
Loretta, why do you feel so guilty about your brother?
I don't expect him to forgive me. All I can do is make amends for what I did.
By making him a crook and a criminal. What if somebody decides to make him pay for your scam?
Mason is totally capable of defending himself. Just leave us be. We're perfectly fine.
Don't you think he needs to be somewhere he can receive appropriate medical care?
Mason wants to be useful, can you understand that? And chemistry is his passion, and the Swanborough cordial gives him a purpose in life.
Chill. Oh, penipu nih orang-orang ini.
How is the sanitary situation evolving in Whitechapel these days?
When people buy guns instead of medication, it means they have already traded hope for fear in their hearts. In my book, that's never a good thing, Doctor.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Neurogia. Nggak ada.
It's locked.
The wet boots will be proud of me.
Perhaps I should look into it.
Mr. Bates.
Evening, Doctor.
Since I took an oath to help people, can I be of assistance?
Well, seen better days, that's for sure. But it was bound to happen with all these refugees about.
Infecting you is probably the last thing on these people's minds. Take this, in any case.
What? You give me this for free? Don't have a clue about this place, do you?
Goodbye, Mr. Bates.
Misi aja lagi. Misi utama. Sebelum itu kita mau beli lah jadi pemprov hospital.
Its effectiveness has been proven by many.
Good evening, Benjamin.
I'm afraid not, Mr.
How are conditions in Whitechapel these days?
I hear gunshots every night. It's just like the war in the trenches, Doctor. I can't stand it.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper.
As long as you have the money.
I cannot enter. It's locked. This is despicable. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is despicable.
Mikirin gimana sih mikirinnya?
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
You always knew the words to calm me.
It's locked, all right.
My sweet love.
Oh ini.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Bukan ibu anak ya? Oh, tempat untuk bunuh diri ya?
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reed.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
I have to go now, sir. But don't...
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Your son wished to die, Beatrice. Why did you hide such crucial information?
Are you not aware suicide is a crime? Mortimer could be thrown in jail. I can't let that happen. I won't.
I understand you fear the legal consequences, Mrs. Goswick. But don't you realize your silence significantly affects your son's case?
All my son needs is help and comprehension. Not judgment and punishment for what he may or may not have done.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Kuncian apa sih ini? Goswick House.
It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right. It's locked. It's locked, all right.
children hate it.
Please, I feel sick. Get over here now. It ain't human. Kill it.
In this letter, Mortimer Goswick does nothing to hide his desire to die. I could give it to his mother, but doing so would betray his trust.
It's locked. It's locked. It's locked.
believe I'm doing this. This is despicable.
I'd step back, sir.
Alright.
So many deaths.
Kemungkinan dia akan dipilih. Nah, kemungkinan dia akan meninggal.
I'm alright. Time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Your son asked me to find this letter, Mrs. Goswick. However, I thought it would be preferable to give it to you.
I already know what I'm going to read. Mortimer, why are you acting in this way? I have done everything I can to help you, but it's not enough.
We will talk about this letter later. I understand that you need some privacy.
Before you leave, take this for your trouble. Thanks to you, my son still has a future. Perhaps.
I have read your son's suicide note. It was not an impulsive gesture, nor was it his first attempt.
He threatened to kill himself a few times before, but I never thought he would dare to punish me this much.
Punish you? Why?
I've known for a long time he was not happy with his life, but I always hoped he cared enough to avoid making me suffer like this.
Mortimer is extremely vague as to his motivations for committing suicide. Tell me more about what you know.
As you say, Mortimer had no reason to die. All he said to me was that he wanted to make the world a better place, but couldn't.
Why did your son feel so useless when facing the world?
I think it was more that he could only see the melancholy facets of life. He couldn't help but dwell on such things.
What do you think he meant by making the world a better place?
Mortimer has always been a sensitive soul. He wouldn't talk to anyone for months after his father passed. It's like he carries everyone's sadness with him.
Do you realize your son could try to kill himself again? He might succeed next time.
I think about it every minute. But I won't stop fighting for my son's future. That's how much I love him.
You're right. Your son's death was not fatal. And unlike many on their own, he is lucky to have you by his side.
I can't give up on him. I just can't. I have conceded many times in my life, but giving up on my son is something I am incapable of.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
I've read your letter, Mortimer. You wrote about an unbearable feeling of despair while the world crumbles around you. Tell me more about it.
There's nothing more to say, really. It's hurtful, it's unbearable, and I don't ask anyone to understand what I feel.
Don't you see how lucky you are? You're rich, you're in good health, and you have a loving mother. You're simply drowning in self-pity.
Leave me alone then, Doctor, and let me drown myself.
Your mother won't let you down, Mortimer. Don't you share her hope for a better future?
No. I don't.
Won't you even try?
Do you want me to promise you I'll get better? Do you want me to tell her the same thing? I could, but it would not change anything.
I have to go now, sir.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
But we have some of the most brilliant minds in London at Pembroke.